Hi, welcome to Never Stop Trucking. On this channel, we talk about drivers, trucking, dispatchers, and about trucking industry in general. In this video, we will be talking about dispatchers and how you as a dispatcher can improve your work and how to gain trust and how to make it in this industry. We all know that the times are tough right now, so it's hard to find work and it's hard to keep it, and it's also hard to advance. So let's get to the business right away. The first advice that I have for you, whether you're a brand new trucking dispatcher, aspiring truck dispatcher, or an accomplished truck dispatcher, is that you should not overpromise to drivers. That will come back and bite you. Don't overpromise. Sometimes it will stick. A lot of times it will come back, and maybe even in a month or maybe even in a year. So don't promise the things that you cannot fulfill. Even don't promise those things. Just make it less attractive, right? But then if someone, a driver or an owner operator or a broker is surprised in a good way, that's even better for you. If the load pays $2.20, don't tell them the load pays $3, by making up the mileage, by not including the deadhead mileage, or by using some routes that the driver is actually not gonna go through. For example, on East Coast, most routes are not truck accessible, especially for semi-trucks, and you have to go around some towns or some areas, and the map will show you that you can go through the town, but as a dispatcher, you should know that a truck cannot go that way. So do not overpromise, and do not misstate things, make them work in your favor so they actually take the load, and then you can go to your next thing. Next thing is, don't ignore driver preferences. Some drivers will have preferences. Most of them will. Some of these will not make sense to you, but that's how they work. If they ask you to not go to a certain area, don't offer them a load to a certain area. Now, there is a way that you can actually do that, but I will tell you about that later. But don't, all in all, if they tell you, okay, well, I don't want loads that are over 40,000 pounds, then don't give them those loads. Don't offer them those loads. If a driver tells you, I don't want any loads that are less than 500 miles long, don't give them those loads. Some drivers will want to do 2-day loads or 3-day loads, even though, especially right now, the loads, the smaller the mileage for a load is, the bigger the rate per mile is. And I try to explain that to everyone, to drivers and to dispatchers, and most of them will understand that, but still they will prefer a longer load. Okay, so don't offer them those loads. Listen, and then mention it back to them, right? When they ask you, okay, is there anything for me? Then you can say, okay, well, here are the loads that check your preferences, and I know you told me that you don't want these loads that are less than 500 miles, so I'm not even offering you those loads. Now, in that situation, the driver might think, okay, well, this guy is actually listening. He's not even offering me those loads, and he understands what I need. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer because he knows my preferences and he's going to give me something that I need. Or the driver is going to say, well, you know what, there's nothing else, nothing that I like. So what else is there? Like, what are those loads about, the ones that are less than 500 miles? And then you tell them about those loads. Or if there's really nothing out there and you can't find any loads for them that they want to do, then you call them, because this way you're telling them that you're actually looking. Like if you, some drivers don't like to be bothered if you, like, especially if you're offering them a load that they don't want. For example, this guy only, let's say this guy only wants to go to Iowa, right? It's not their home state. It's like this guy just wants to go to Iowa. And you keep offering him a load to Minnesota or her. They're going to get mad, right? Because I told you I only want to go to Iowa. But then there are no loads to Iowa. And all day you haven't even offered them one load or even acknowledged that you're looking, and they're going to be like, is this guy even looking? So you can update them, call them or text them, say, hey, I am looking, but I don't see any loads to Iowa. Hopefully something is going to jump out in like next 20 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour, right? That way you're telling them that you're looking, right? And then even if there's nothing at the end of the day, don't just turn off your computer and go home, especially if it's a weekend or a holiday and just you leave them there. Don't do that. Call them. Like if you work till 5 p.m. and you're a dispatcher and there is nothing, and it's already 2, 3 o'clock, there's nothing, especially if it's a weekend. You call the driver at 3 o'clock, say, hey, look, there is really nothing else. Let's make a plan. What are we going to do? Do you want, like, this is what I see. I know this is not going to the area that you want, and I understand that, but there is nothing else, and these are the loads I see. And they may say, okay, well, what do you have? If this owner-operator is really thinking about, like, business-wise, this owner-operator is going to say, okay, well, I'm just going to take that load. If it pays well, I'm not going to go to that area. I'm going to go someplace else. Let's just do it because I don't want to stay here. That's how it should be. That's how I would do it. Because you're a business owner, as an owner-operator, you're not just a driver. Like, you got to think about the business, not about your feelings or whether, one time you had a flat tire in that area and you're superstitious or something bad happened or something, like for some reason you don't want to go there. Now you're a businessman, right? No emotions, no feelings, no, acting like a little child. You're a businessman, you want to make money, okay, take that load and do it. And then hopefully you're not going to have to do it again. But this is only once, like, it's an exception, right? So you tell that to the driver. It's 3 p.m. Here's what I see. I know this is not the area you want to go, but I just want to tell you, just so you're aware. And this way I'm giving a signal that I am looking, that I am aware of the situation. I know what's going on. I see the markets, and I genuinely want to help you. I care about you, and I'm communicating. And then at the end of the year, I had so many owner-operators call me and tell me, hey, we looked, meaning, me as a driver and this dispatcher, we looked all day, and he called so many loads, but we couldn't find anything, like the broker, they covered it, or they canceled something. He gave his 120%, and that's what I like to hear. I don't like to hear the fact that he stayed there, that there's nothing, but I like to hear that the dispatcher is trying and that the owner, operator, or a driver is aware of that, right? So that makes me feel well about everyone, because I know that they're going to figure out something. So at 3 p.m., there's nothing. What are we going to do? Are we going to look for tomorrow? Are we going to move you to a better area? Am I going to stay later? Like if I work till 5, and this owner operator is really, it's just having a bad luck, like something got canceled, there are no loads, and the owner operator is understanding the situation. But you as a dispatcher, you want to be fair to them and say, hey, I'm going to spend another hour here and stay here and look for this guy. This guy is, genuine. He wants to go, and this is just bad luck for him. I want to help him. And you as a dispatcher should do that, right? If you see that this owner operator is acting that way. So stay and tell them, or call them again at 4:30. Okay, here's an update. There is nothing. What's our plan? Are we still sticking to that plan? And then at 5 p.m., okay, you're like, okay, 5 to 6, you might be able to find a load, at least for tomorrow. If not, look, after 3 p.m., look for a load for today and for tomorrow. Don't just look for today, look for today and tomorrow at the same time. And then sometimes you will be able to book a load between 5 and 6. And at 6, you're like, okay, there's nothing came out for the last 20 minutes. It's not gonna come out. We tried, we did everything we could. And then again, you can either call the driver or text the driver, say, and explain to them, and just tell them, hey, hopefully we can find something tomorrow. Or if you find something for tomorrow, the driver can start moving and going over there, and then that load for tomorrow better be pick up first thing in the morning, not at 3 p.m., right? Driver can go there, maybe sleep there, maybe even get loaded. I've seen it happen all the time. Maybe the driver can get loaded that same day. You never know. So the driver goes there and he's ready for at least for the first thing in the morning to load him and then go. Next thing that I have for you is respect drivers' hours of service and rest. Don't push them into illegal runs. You gotta protect their CDL, your company's reputation and scores, and your reputation, right? So talk to them about hours of service. Most dispatchers right now will be able to access their ELDs online and see, like here in Usora Express, all our dispatchers have, through our TMS that we built, they can see where the driver is. They can log in into the ELD as well and see how many hours they have left for today and for the week, right? And you gotta watch those hours. You can't, like if you have 5 drivers, some companies will have 10, dispatchers will have 10 drivers. It's hard to constantly watch their hours for all of them. But usually it will be, it takes like a minute of your time, right? You just go there like in the morning or in the afternoon. Okay, this guy drove this much, he's gonna be there, like at 11 a.m. He's gonna be driving 3 hours in the morning. He's gonna spend 3 hours for that day to get there at 11. And that means he's gonna have 8 hours left of driving that day. So I'm gonna book him a load that's either shorter, or a load that's a next day delivery, but with flexible hours, or a load that's a 2-day trip. And usually those 2-day trips, a driver will be able, in that case, to maybe deliver in the morning, but you can still kind of work it out and ask the driver, right? Respect that. Don't just, because the driver, the driver will call you as a dispatcher or the manager and tell them, hey, this dispatcher, like, he doesn't even know how the hours of service work. He doesn't know, like I tell him I have 10 hours available or 5 hours available, and he gives me this load. That doesn't make sense. I can't make it. It will make you look unprofessional and inexperienced if you don't watch the hours of service. Communicate clearly. Always, when you talk to the driver and you offer them a load or you send them the load information, you have to communicate clearly about the pickup, the drop, the weight, commodity, if there's detention information, any special notes. You gotta communicate with the driver and tell them about that. You cannot just assume that the driver is gonna read it off the rate confirmation, especially if there's something out of ordinary, because you as a dispatcher, when you book a load, rate confirmation, usually it's like one piece of paper. Maybe 2 pages. And in those 2 pages, there's a lot of fine print, and really it will take you 30 seconds to read through all of it, to double check and make sure that it's everything as you understood. Because sometimes, like, you're in a rush, you're doing 3 things at the same time. Maybe you didn't understand the broker correctly. It happens to me. But then you get the rate confirmation and you're like, okay, well, I thought this load was picking up at noon, but it says here picks up at 3. And then you can call the broker and say, hey, like, is this correct? And they can be like, oh, well, yeah, I told you Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't understand. Okay, let me see with the driver if that's okay. It's my mistake. Or if a broker made a mistake or a broker lied, right? So you're catching those things on the rate confirmation. You're looking everything. Like, does it match to what they told you? Or even if they didn't tell you about that specific thing or you forgot to ask, okay, you're making sure this is the same pickup city and delivery and the times and the weight and the commodity. And then you look if there's a pickup number available. If the driver has to track, the driver has to download a certain application to track. If there is detention information, like do you have to call after 2 hours to tell them that the detention starts? Is there driver assist? Anything. You can't just send it to the driver and then after, like next day, the driver goes to a delivery and the driver calls and says, hey, buddy, well, they expect me to help them unload or tailgate this to the back of the trailer or something like that. And then you're like, well, yeah, it says right here on the rate confirmation, I sent it to you. Yeah, but you didn't communicate that with the driver because that's something that should have been said. That's something out of ordinary. Most of these over-the-road loads that we do, 99.9% of them are no touch, right? And we don't do that. We are not local delivery. We are not LTL, right? We are over the road, full truckload, and our drivers do not unload trucks unless the broker says that upfront. Sometimes they will pay extra, and it has to be communicated, and you have to ask the owner operator if they are willing to do that. Okay, so don't assume things, especially if you have a driver that's technically challenged. You see it with some people that they don't like technology. They're not good with phones. You have some older people who are not good with technology, even younger people, and if we have this one guy, and he was in a lot of my videos. I spoke about him, Mike. He's an older driver. He's 75 now, and at that time he was like 72, 73, and he had a flip phone. He was using a flip phone for talking, but then he had another smartphone. I would just take a picture of the rate confirmation at that time because we didn't have this TMS app that we're using right now, and I will send it to him. But if there's something out of ordinary, I call him. For example, there's an additional stop because most of our loads are one pick, one drop. Now, if there are two stops, I'm not going to assume just because I sent him a picture with, like one pickup, 2 or 3, I'm going to call him and tell him. And you should do that with every driver. If there's something out of ordinary, you got to call them or text them and have them confirm that they understand that this is required of them, right? And then you're covered and they know what to do, and most likely this is going to be taken care of because they know and they agreed to this, okay? Keep drivers updated. If the load is delayed or if they called you adding another stop or adding more product or changing the delivery time or delivery location, whatever it might be, update the driver, right? They have to know right away. Don't wait, don't assume things, don't just forward them that email from the broker. If you text them, make sure they reply to that text confirming that they understand what you said. Otherwise, call them and explain it to them. Next thing is don't lie to brokers about truck location. Now, sometimes this is like, I think they call it a white lie. I think it could be defined as that. Because let's say you have a load, let's say your truck is in Youngstown, Ohio, and the load is picking up in Toledo, Ohio. And from Youngstown to Toledo, I believe you need like a couple of hours. Now, the load can pick up 8 to 3, and your driver has plenty of time to get there. Now you're gonna tell the broker, okay, my truck is in Sandusky, Ohio, or in Cleveland, just so they don't think that you're not gonna make it. But in reality, the driver can make it. Or another scenario, if the driver is far away, but the driver does not have enough time to get there, like broker is saying, okay, you have to be at this place at 10 a.m. The driver cannot make it there. It's impossible. But you know this place, and you know that this place has an open pickup. Like you can pick up all day up to like 2, 3 o'clock, and you know that because you had many drivers that have been there, or me, like when I was driving, I know I've been there myself. But maybe something changed. Maybe this is a different load. You don't know, and then you tell the broker, okay, the driver can be there at 10, but you know that the driver is going to be there at 12, and then the broker is going to call you. They're going to call the driver. They're going to tell you that you're lying, and you kind of are. Just tell the broker, okay, look, I know this location. This driver cannot be there until noon. I know they're going to load him, but the broker is going to be like, well, no. They said strictly 10, and I can't use you. Now it's up to you. Do you think this broker is going to call you? Are they going to blacklist you? Are they going to put you on do not use list? It's risky. Now that's up to your judgment and how you're going to deal with that. But the more you lie, the more you dig yourself deeper into that hole. So I know some dispatchers that will do it all the time. Some of them won't. Some of them will do it sometimes. So, that it's kind of a touchy subject. But all in all, try to avoid lying to brokers as well. We know brokers also lie to us. They tell us one thing, it doesn't happen. Maybe they're not doing it on purpose. Maybe they're misinformed. Maybe they're just ignorant. They don't want to know. Whatever it is, they cancel our loads, but we want to cancel load on them. It's a big deal. And for them, you can't do anything. They just say shipper cancel this load. And what are you going to do? Nothing. So you kind of think, okay, well, if they're doing it to us, we can do it to them. I would avoid that as much as I can. Next thing that I have for you is be professional in negotiations. So no yelling, no fighting, no cussing, no begging. You gotta speak confidently with facts, right? Now this here, we could talk about this for another hour. But the first thing that you what's professional? What does professional mean to you? Does it mean that you're calm, that you're communicating timely, that you're respectful? What does that mean to you? I think in most cases it means the same thing, right? Being professional just means being respectful, being honest, and communicate well. That's what I think professional is. So when you speak to the broker, you always lead with being professional. You lead with that. You open with that. You assume that the person on the other line is same as you, that they want to do this job professionally. If something changes during your conversation, then that's different. Then if they start yelling at you, don't take it, right? Don't take it. If they start cussing, if you see that they're lying, just don't work with them. But always lead with being professional, especially when you're writing emails, because emails, everything is documented, everything is in writing, and once you send it to them, they will have a proof of you not being professional. If you're not professional, they can blame you for many things. They can say that you lied, that you're doing something shady, that you're not professional, and down the road, if there's a problem with that load or with the driver, it's not going to work out well for you, because they can go back to that history of whatever you wrote and how you wrote, and just say, hey, this guy, I don't believe him anything. I don't trust this guy. I don't want to work with this guy. I don't want to work with this company or with this driver or ever again, or this shipper will not. You are ruining the relationship with everyone, not just for you, but for your company and the manager and other dispatchers and the driver. Don't do that. When you're writing emails, always be professional. You know, you don't have to like overuse thank you and please and good afternoon. As long as you stick to facts, no name calling, no swearing, just stick to facts, and you will see that most of the time, if you have a problem and this is not your fault and something is wrong and needs to be resolved, you will see if you stay professional that the outcome is going to be better for you. It's going to be in your favor if you stay like that, right? So this comes for negotiations, following up, sending the proof of deliveries to a broker, anything like that. Okay, stay professional. I know for me sometimes it's hard because sometimes I have a temper and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to deal with this guy. This is ridiculous. But then, like if I talk, for example, to Emro and he says like, yeah, just calm down and, don't do them. Like, okay, he's right. I'm not going to do it that way. And then it works usually in our favor. Always confirm load details before accepting. So we talked about that in one of those previous points. Don't burn a broker on a load. Canceling last minute kills trust. If you must give plenty of notice. Now, if you have to cancel a load, it happens. Like we said, everyone cancels the load. This is trucking. And if there's an unforeseen circumstance, a problem, something happens with the truck, with the driver, whatever it is, just like I said, document everything. If the driver broke down, have them send a picture. Make sure you get the invoice or the estimate. Make sure you know where the driver is taking the truck, what shop. Get their information so you're prepared. You got everything documented. Most of the time, brokers will not ask for any proof that the driver actually broke down. But you're prepared this way. You're ready in case they ask. And you can even if the broker is angry that you cancel the load, or if they're not angry, if they don't care, you can still gather all these things and just email the broker and say, okay, I just want to show you that this driver went to this shop. This is the repair estimate. This is a picture. Whatever proof you have, that way it will make you look professional. It will make them more likely to book a load next time with you. Or if they're mad, you have a proof that this actually happened. Okay. Now, I tell all dispatchers, the ones that work here and that I train, that I worked with, I tell them, once you book a load, delete that load search or the load posting in your load board for that truck. Once you actually get the rate confirmation, right? So you're booking a load. Broker is telling you, okay, this load is yours. I'm going to send you an email confirmation or something like that. Then you can say, okay, I'm going to temporarily stop looking. I'm not going to delete the load posting or the load search, but I'm not going to actively call on other loads. I'm going to give this broker some time to send me the rate confirmation. Could be you give them 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, depending on like if whether this is a load for tomorrow or for today, or the driver has to go to pick up like right now, otherwise they're going to miss the deadline. So it depends how long you're going to wait. But if you see that they're not sending the rate confirmation after 15, 20 minutes, then you can follow up. You can email them or call them and say, hey, I haven't gotten the rate confirmation. Is everything okay? And then you can kind of see if they drag it, for like 30 minutes or more than, unless they promise you and this broker and this load is for tomorrow, then yeah, you can, wait. But if it's more than 30 minutes, I would get concerned. But once you get the rate confirmation, you delete that load posting. You're not looking anymore. I've seen dispatchers do this all the time. They're looking for another load. Why? You cover this truck, you have other trucks. Like, go work on those trucks. This guy accepted the load, he wants the load, or if it's a company driver, this load looks good enough. This is the best you could have come up with that far. That's it. You think you're going to find a better load. Okay, maybe you will. Maybe you will. But karma is a weird thing. You're going to cancel that load that you booked before. You're going to book another load that's better in your eyes. And then you're going to make this broker mad, or no one likes it. Like, they might not be mad, but they're not going to like it, whether they say it or not. And if you keep canceling loads, they're going to not work with you anymore. But then you get this another load and you have a problem with that load, or they cancel it. Then you're gonna realize that you should not have canceled that load, because karma is really, I'm not gonna say the word, but it's weird. Okay, so don't do that, please. What else do we have? Respect broker relationships. Now, in good markets, brokers will preach about relationships, connections, being loyal, because in those markets you will have the upper hand. And then they're saying, well, you gotta work with them and not over quote them, not try to take every of their last dollars, right? Not request more money than what the market rates are. They're going to try to find a lot of excuses in order to have you bill them less, quote them less, because they have to go to their customer with that quote, and they have to beg their customer and explain to them that they cannot find anyone that wants to run for that amount of money. They have to go up in order for cover, and broker does not like that, of course, and the shipper doesn't like it, and they don't want that. But in these bad market times, like we have right now, brokers don't care about relationships. Like, they're not like, it doesn't matter who you are. Most of the brokers will not, because they're already running on low margins. Like, their shippers are killing them, their customers. Their customers, they're greedy. They want to save money. They see what's going on, and they're going to give an offer to 10 brokers. They're going to tell them, hey, give us a quote. 10 brokers, here's one lane, give us quotes. And brokers have to be competitive. They cannot quote them more for more than what the market rates are. It has to be less. It's dog eat dog. They're gonna underbid each other, and the shipper is most likely gonna go with the lowest broker and the lowest price, and that broker is gonna have to cover that load for the minimum profit. Right? It's gonna be like $20, $50, because the pay is already low from the shipper, and now they have to add some of their profits to the rate. They cannot add, $250, $500 to that rate. It's gonna have to be something very low. So the brokers, and you tell them, well, we did this load for the past 2 years for this much money, or this load is not profitable, we can't run it. They're like, no, like the markets, this is what the markets are. You can't, like, if you don't want it, someone else will do it. We had 2 carriers that did it for less money. Yeah, sure, you did. No, you didn't. But that's how it is. But in normal times, you can work with brokers, and use those relationships. Because in normal times, when the shippers are paying well, the broker can afford sometimes to have smaller margins, or sometimes they can afford to lose money if they have to, because they will make it up on those other loads. In these bad times, they can't, right? So they're more likely to build a relationship with you in good times, okay? And when you can, just do it. That's fine. Sometimes do them a favor. Like, if the markets are good and we have good paying loads, and And this broker is giving you a lot of freight, a lot of good freight. Just do them a favor sometimes. Like it's not end of the world. Like if you sometimes take a load for cheaper, or if you talk to the driver or the owner operator or the manager in the company, tell them, explain to them, hey, like this guy is giving us all these loads and he needed someone to pick up this load for less money over there. I think we should do this because we're going to get more of those good loads in future from him. Why not help him out? And if you have a decent manager, someone that understands how this works, they're going to say, yeah, sure, do it. That's good. I like these guys. I like working with them. They're paying on time. They're not shortcutting us. They give us attention. They give us good loads. They pay even quickly. Like maybe we are not even using a factoring company, because like C.H. Robinson used to, I'm not sure about now, but C.H. Robinson used to pay very fast, right? And I loved working with C.H. Robinson. The rates, they never had really great rates, but they always give the attention. They pay you fast, and they don't lie about their loads, right? So I liked working with C.H. Robinson. I booked so many loads on their load board. Also because there is not much competition. You're on a DAT load board or truck stop. There are so many brokers, so many trucking companies calling and trying to get a load. You go to C.H. Robinson website at that time, and it's all relaxed. And if you have your own rep over there, and you message them, because we still use GChat, and then they can maybe give you more money. You will say you get the rate confirmation instantly, and you're all set, and no one is bothering you. They used to be really good as far as that goes. Now everything is bad. The rates are bad. So what can you do? Always be reachable when you're a dispatcher. Nowadays there are a lot of dispatchers that are working overseas, and that's okay. I spoke in a video where when I was in Bosnia with Emro, and we spoke about the fact that there are so many dispatchers over there in that area right now, in Bosnia, in Serbia, in Eastern Europe. And we came to a conclusion that, some people will say, well, these dispatchers are not from here, and they don't care as much as these guys here do. I actually have the opposite opinion on that, at least about the dispatchers from our region. I'm not going to speak about other regions, other countries, other continents. I'm speaking about that region over there. Most of these guys, they're younger, they know English, they have a family, and that means that they have to be serious, right? They have to support their family. And most of the times, these dispatching jobs from here, from United States, will pay more than what they can actually make over there. And a lot of times they can work from home. You don't have to travel. There are no expenses for the travel. You don't have to go out pay for lunch. You eat at home. You can, it's more relaxed, right? And you're getting paid better. So why would you not do everything you can to keep that job and be better at that job and maybe grow, right? So it doesn't make sense that people are saying, well, these dispatchers are not reliable. But if you're in a different country, on the other part of the world, that means you're in a different time zone. Like here and Bosnia, it's a 6 hours difference, okay? So the dispatcher that's working from here on Eastern Standard Time from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., over there, their time, that's 1 p.m. To 11 p.m. So they have to work over there 1 p.m. So it's kind of like a second shift until 11 p.m. Okay. Now something happens here. Trucks are driving, people are picking up loads. Something happens with the driver at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and they're expecting someone to pick up and say, hey, well, I have a blown tire, I'm going to be late, I'm delivering a load, there is no one here, they need a pickup number. But it's 2 a.m. over there now, and that guy is probably already in bed. But you have to be available. Here we have after hours. I'm the after hours. If someone has a problem, because I'm here, I live here, they can call me, and I can help them. But some companies don't. Or like they don't have after hours, or the owner does not want to answer, like they're doing something, or they're not available. So you have to be, if you're a dispatcher, always available no matter where you are over there, whatever country you're in, whatever the time is, it doesn't matter. You have to be available. Now, you don't have, like this is not going to happen all the time. It's going to happen maybe once or twice a month for you as a dispatcher. But that once a month will mean a lot to the driver and to the broker that you're actually available, right? Even here, like that's how our job is. Even a dispatcher that's here, they stop at, let's say they stop at 5 p.m. in the afternoon, but they have a cell phone, and drivers will text them, drivers will call them. And if I would always tell the driver, okay, if this is something that's not urgent, that can wait till tomorrow, or that you could have asked us about before 5 p.m., I will tell them, hey, just, next time, just make sure, like, this is, because we work 7 to 5, but if it's urgent, it's an emergency, then yeah, someone has to answer, and usually it's the dispatcher. Like if I'm the after hours, and dispatcher books a load today, I can't, it's hard for me to be aware of all of the loads that are being booked that day, and where the driver is going, picking up or delivering, how many stops they have, if they had any issues before that with the broker, if the broker promised them something. I don't know. It doesn't matter if I'm after hours or if I'm the manager or the owner. It's hard to know all of that. But if the driver calls me and tells me, I'm like, okay, so let me see what load you're doing. Okay, and then, okay, tell me what's the problem. Then I have to go find the broker's name, their after hours contact, call them, email them. Usually they will not answer after hours. But the dispatcher will know exactly what load they're doing, what the issue was before that, and maybe how to even reach that broker. So the actual dispatcher will be able to help the driver better, okay, as opposed to someone that's after hours. Next thing is know your market and the rates. If the driver, the owner-operator, senses that you don't know where the markets are better, where they're worse, what the rates are, where a good area is, especially with seasonal freight like reefer or even a flatbed, then that driver will ask for a different dispatcher just because of that. Owner-operators will not ask for a different dispatcher to work with in most cases, because stuff happens. But this is a big one. If the driver senses or notices that the dispatcher does not know the markets, then they're going to ask for a different dispatcher. They're not going to work with you. They will go someplace else, like to a different company, because that's like and I see because you have a lot of different kind of dispatchers. You have different industries within this industry. For example, you may have auto loads. Someone was doing only auto loads. Someone was only doing expedite loads. Someone has never worked with a flatbed. Or we used to get a lot of people that will apply here that worked for Landstar. Landstar is a totally different game. And the dispatcher that only worked for Landstar and they learned the business being a Landstar agent, even though they work with owner-operators, will not know anything about this market. They will not be able to adjust unless they're really willing to, and someone is training them, and someone is explaining them, and someone is watching them. In most of the cases, a Landstar dispatcher will not know how to work in a spot market. It's just what it is. And I'm not going to go into why, but we know this, and I know why. I understand, but that's not the topic of this video. If you have someone that only did expedite and they're very good at their job, it doesn't have to mean that they're going to be good at the way we are working, for example, when you work with spot markets. So these people likely don't understand the markets, and it will take them a long time to research and understand and become better at knowing where to send these drivers. Next thing is, don't book cheap freights just to stay busy. Sometimes it's better to wait, sometimes it's not, depends in what area you are. Sometimes it's okay to ask the driver and say, hey, I know you know that I always do my best, but today I have an appointment, or tomorrow let's book you something right now so we can get you moving. And they will understand that, right? I would understand that. So sometimes there are occasions where it's okay to book something that's not great, but sometimes it's better to wait, and don't just like some dispatchers will just book something so they can go on with their day or go home. Don't do that. Stay organized with paperwork. We use here our own TMS, where dispatchers can upload the load information, and admins and people who do invoices, we can all see that. The drivers can see it as well, and they can upload the rate confirmation. The driver can upload the POD after they unload. So that's organized, but some companies will not have that, especially smaller ones. And make sure you have a certain way of working with your paperwork. Have certain folders on your computer, or if you're working in spreadsheets or Excel, or invest in a cheap TMS program, something simple and something that will help you save on time. Don't take too many trucks at once. I know you're trying maybe to make more money or to prove yourself, but that will burn you. Sometimes it's better to have less trucks and give them more attention so they can make more money. Therefore, you are more likely to make more money yourself, depending how you're paid. But they will be happier, these drivers, and they will stay with you for a long time. It's better to have 5 happy drivers as opposed to 10 unhappy drivers. Keep learning. Laws, ELDs, freight markets, you gotta stay on top, stay educated, sign up to some newsletters from different news outlets about trucking, research the laws, specific state rules. A lot of states have their own rules. If you don't know them, it's very easy. You can find everything online. You can talk to your fellow dispatchers. You can talk to your drivers. It's okay to ask them, hey, I don't know how this thing works. Explain it to me. Learn how to find them a shop, a service, how to look up an address, the delivery, truck stop, rest area. That will help you in the long run. It will make your drivers trust you more, and they will respect you better, and they will want to work with you. Therefore, you will be a more valued dispatcher than the others. Don't be greedy on your cut. That means if you're negotiating with a broker, and the broker is already giving you, let's say, $500 above the market rate, and you're just pushing for that $25 or $50, like, don't do that. Like, you already have $500 more. The driver is happy. They want to do the load. Or if the driver keeps pressuring you, like, I would just tell them, hey, okay, we got you 500 more, and you're asking for 50 more, and for you that's going to be a deal breaker. Let's just book the load, man. It's different when the markets are better. It's different story. But even then, like, don't chances are that broker is going to come back and cancel the load because they found someone cheaper, or they're not going to want to work with you anymore, or they're going to undercut you on your next load. So just like, of course, we all want to make more money, but being greedy is never a good long-term tactic. Also, be calm in the storm. I think one of my strengths is that I'm calm with drivers, with brokers. Everyone has their occasions when they lose their temper, but I think in most cases that kind of works in my favor a lot. It makes me a better dispatcher and a better, let's say a manager, okay? If you have, let's say you have two people, and one person here is yelling, and the other one starts yelling at them in the same way, or responding in an angry way, then that's not a conversation. But that conversation will not lead anywhere. It might become something even worse, or they're just going to disagree, and they're not going to be able to make out a deal or whatever they're working on. But if you have one person that's yelling or being angry, and the other one is being calm and respectful, you will notice how that first person slowly, not right away, but slowly they're going to lower their tone and realize that they are overreacting, and that this person is showing them that it's not that bad, that they treat them with respect. There is no need to be angry and yell, and then slowly the first person is going to calm down. And that's the best way to resolve a situation. I know myself, if I have an angry broker or an angry driver, I try always to calm them down. And usually what I do is I show them empathy, right? And I show them that I agree with them. And I tell them, oh man, yeah, that's really bad. Like that should not have happened. And then I give them a signal that I'm on their side, that I'm actually agreeing, and that they have every right to be mad and angry. And then they will slowly go down, even if I know that they're wrong. Like, at the beginning, I don't want to tell them that. I don't want to tell them, hey, you could have done this differently, or you're wrong. You're like, the other person is right. No, don't do that. Because that's not going to lead anywhere. Just acknowledge that they're angry, that this should not have happened, and that you're going to find a way to work it out. And then after they come down, after you talk about everything, then you can slowly bring it up and say, hey, well, could it not be that this guy thought this, or that this could have been done different, and then see their reaction, and then you can work it out. And then, after a while, they will think about it and then realize, hopefully, that they were wrong. But if you respond to fire with fire, it's not gonna do any good. And then last thing, but not least, and before I do that, do click on the like button. If you like this video, it will help. It's like 1 second of your time, but if many people click on the like button, the algorithm in YouTube will show it to more people, and it will promote a video better. And then also consider subscribing to the channel. But the last thing is protect your reputation as a dispatcher. You would not believe this in trucking. Everyone knows everyone, and this just doesn't go for carriers or broker. If a carrier is doing something shady, or a broker, slowly everyone is going to know about it, right? And same thing with a dispatcher. Like you're one individual, and you're a dispatcher. You're not a company. Like you're not a big name company. You don't have many employees, but still, your name. If you do things wrong, if you do bad things, if you don't care about the drivers, if you don't communicate, if you are lying or doing something else shady, the word will travel fast. And this is an example. I had one driver ask me, like, hey, is this the dispatcher that was working over there, that company? Yeah. Well, I have a friend who worked there, and he told me that this dispatcher did this and that, and he's like, well, is that true? I said, well, I don't know. Like I don't know. Let's see. Let's watch. Let's see what happens, and then we'll go from there. But I don't know. Like it's like you're just telling me that. Like how. What do I do with that information? Like I can't do anything. Let's see what happens. Let's see how it is, and then we'll see how this works. But what I'm trying to tell you is that this driver knew about this dispatcher and about he has a bad reputation. So don't be a dispatcher with bad reputation. This is Anis. It's Never Stop Trucking. That's the name of the channel. As you already know, come back for more, and I'll see you guys around, and you have a great day.